The alien girl lands on Earth. The night was quiet. Cold wind moved across the empty hills. A strange light flashed in the sky, fast and bright like a falling star. But this was no star. A small ship shaped like a silver leaf crashed through the clouds and hit the ground with a loud boom. Dirt flew into the air. Trees shook. The ship slid into a field and stopped, smoke rising from its sides. Inside the ship, the alien girl opened her eyes. Her name was Yura. She came from a planet called Naris. Her skin was soft blue and her eyes glowed like ice. She was a scout, sent to study Earth. But something went wrong. The engine failed. She was hurt. Her shoulder was bleeding. Everything around her was dark and strange. The air smelled different, warmer, heavier. She pressed a button and the ship's door opened with a slow hiss. She stepped out, her legs shaking. The ground felt soft and wet. The stars above her were so close, so many. This world was not like hers. It was loud, alive, full of smells and colors she did not understand. A rustling sound came from the trees. She froze. Someone was there. A human boy, around 20, stood at the edge of the field. His name was Jake. He had short brown hair and curious eyes. He had seen the crash from his cabin nearby and came running to see what had fallen from the sky. When he saw Yura, he stopped. His mouth opened slightly, but no words came. Are you okay?" he asked. Yura didn't answer. She didn't know if he was dangerous. Her people had told her humans were wild and emotional. She took a step back. "Wait," Jake said, raising his hands. "I won't hurt you. You're bleeding." She looked at her shoulder. The blue blood was dripping. She tried to speak, but the words came out slow. "I need help." Jake walked slowly toward her, took off his jacket, and wrapped it around her arm. "You need shelter," he said. "Come with me. It's safe." Yura didn't trust him, but she was too weak to argue. She followed him through the dark path, toward a wooden cabin hidden under tall trees. Inside, the fire was warm. The light hurt her eyes at first, but then she felt comfort. She sat on a blanket while Jake cleaned her wound. "What's your name?" he asked. "Yura," she whispered. "I'm Jake. You don't look like you're from around here." She looked at him and said nothing. Jake didn't press her. He gave her food, but she didn't eat. He gave her water and she drank carefully, as if testing it. Time passed. Outside, the wind howled. Inside, Jake lit a candle and went to another room. Yura sat still, listening. Then she heard it. Strange sounds from the other room. Soft, rhythmic, like breathing mixed with whispers. She tilted her head, confused. She stood up and moved slowly toward the door. Her hearing was sharp. The sounds grew clearer. Suddenly, Jake came out of the room, his face red. "Hey." He stopped when he saw her. "You okay?" She stared at him. "What was that?" Jake looked embarrassed. "Nothing, just something private." Yura didn't understand. On her planet, there were no private things. Emotions were controlled. Reproduction was done in special labs, clean, simple. No sounds. No closeness. But here, everything felt different. "Is this how humans multiply?" she asked, her voice serious. Jake looked shocked. "What? No, it's not like that." She stepped back, nervous. "You hide it. You cover it. Why?" He paused, then smiled a little. "It's complicated. I'll explain when you're feeling better." She didn't like the mystery. It made her feel unsafe. Her people had told her humans were strange. Now she was starting to believe it. As Jake made tea, Yura looked around the room. Photos on the wall. Soft blankets. A place made for feeling, not just living. Warmth. Emotion. Things she never learned about. But what scared her most was not the humans. It was what she felt inside. Her heart beat faster. Her skin warmed when she looked at Jake. She didn't know why. And that fear was worse than any weapon. Her curiosity grows dangerous. Night fell heavy over the forest cabin. Wind touched the wooden walls like whispers from the dark. Inside, Yura sat close to the fire, her eyes locked on the dancing flames. They reminded her of her homeworld's plasma lakes, calm on the surface, deadly underneath. But nothing felt more dangerous than the human sitting a few feet away. Jake smiled gently at her, sipping tea. He tried to act normal, but Yura could see the tension in his eyes. He had noticed her question from earlier. Her words still hung in the room like smoke. Is this how humans multiply? She wanted to ask more, but something inside her said to wait. So instead, she watched, she observed. That night, Jake offered her a place to sleep. A soft bed with warm sheets. But Yura refused. She sat by the window instead, watching the stars, watching him. When he finally went to sleep, she stood quietly and walked to the shelf, full of books. She ran her fingers across the covers until one caught her eye. It was called Human Biology and Intimacy. She opened it slowly. What she saw made her freeze. Illustrations. Drawings of the human body, male and female. Diagrams of what they called bonding, connection, mating. She turned the pages faster. Her hands shook, her heart beat loud. Her people had told her about human rituals, but seeing it was different. They touch. They move. They breathe into each other. On Nari's, life was grown in crystal tanks. No touching, no kissing, no heat, and no love. Yura suddenly closed the book. She felt something she couldn't name. Not fear, not anger. It was like a burning question inside her chest. Why do humans need to be so close? The next day, Jake took her outside to show her the forest. Birds flew overhead. The sun warmed her skin. She saw rabbits running through the grass, and for the first time in her life, she laughed. Not because something was funny, but because it felt right. You like it here? Jake asked, walking beside her. It's strange, she replied, but not bad. They reached a quiet stream. Yura sat on a rock and looked at her reflection in the water. She touched her cheek. Her skin looked less blue than before. Warmer. Softer. Your body is adapting, Jake said. Earth's air, food, they're changing you. She looked up. Am I becoming human? He didn't answer. Suddenly they heard voices. People. Jake pulled her behind a tree. 2 hikers passed by, holding hands, laughing. Yura stared at them. They are mating? She asked. Jake coughed. No, they're just close. Why do they hold hands? Because it feels good. It shows trust. Yura frowned. Touch is not needed for survival. Your people do it anyway. Jake smiled. We do it because we care. Without it, we feel empty. Those words hit her harder than she expected. As night returned, Yura grew restless. Her thoughts refused to calm. In the middle of the night, she crept toward the room where Jake slept. The door was slightly open. She saw him lying still, breathing softly. She didn't mean to stare, but she couldn't stop. His face looked peaceful, soft, harmless. But her training told her something else. Humans were unpredictable, emotional, and dangerous when bonded. She remembered what her elder once said. If a human touches your soul, it can never be untouched again. A floorboard creaked. Jake opened his eyes, saw her standing there. He sat up quickly. Yura, are you okay? She stepped back. I had a question. He looked concerned. What is it? Her voice was quiet. Have any of your kind ever multiplied with an alien? Jake stared at her, his breath caught. For a moment, he didn't know what to say. I don't think so, he finally said. Why do you ask? Because, she whispered. My body is changing, and I don't know why. He stood up, walked closer. Do you feel sick? No, she said. I feel, something else. When I'm near you, my skin warms. My thoughts become cloudy. I don't understand it. Jake looked into her glowing eyes. It's not sickness. It's connection. She stepped back. Then it's worse than I thought. Suddenly, the cabin lights flickered. A strange signal buzzed inside Yura's mind. Her communication chip had activated. A voice echoed through her skull. This is command. We have detected emotional contamination. Report your status immediately. Her hands clenched. She looked at Jake, then at the stars outside. Suspense filled the air, because now she had to make a choice. Tell her people the truth, or lie, and protect the strange human who was changing everything she thought she knew. The secret of human bonding. Yura sat by the fire again. The flames were warm, but inside her heart, something colder had begun to melt. Her people's voice still echoed in her head. Emotional contamination detected. Report your status immediately. But she didn't reply. She turned the signal off. She wasn't ready. Not yet. Jake sat across from her, watching quietly. He didn't ask what happened, but he saw the worry in her eyes. Her hands trembled. Her shoulders were tight. She wasn't the same alien girl he had found 2 days ago. She looked more human now. Do you want to talk? Jake asked gently. Yura nodded slowly. I think I need to understand something. What is it? She looked at him, her blue eyes searching. What does it mean to love? Jake blinked. The question hit him harder than he expected. He put down his tea and leaned forward. Love, he repeated. It's hard to explain. Try. He took a breath. It means you care for someone more than yourself. You want them to be safe, happy. Their pain hurts you. Their smile heals you. You think of them when you wake up. You protect them, sometimes even when they don't ask. Yura was silent. On her planet, bonding was arranged. No feelings, just duty. They called it merging. You entered a chamber, your cells combined. The new life was born without touch or emotion. But why would you want that pain? Yura asked. Why feel something that can hurt you? Because, Jake said softly, without it you never feel alive. Yura looked down. Her fingers touched her chest. Alive. Was that the feeling twisting inside her since she arrived? The next day, Jake took her to a nearby town. They wore long coats and hats to hide Yura's strange features. She walked slowly, watching everything. Humans laughing, holding hands, hugging children. She didn't understand why all of them kept touching each other. And then she saw something that made her stop. A man dropped to one knee in front of a woman. He opened a small box with a ring inside. The woman gasped. Tears filled her eyes. The man said something Yura couldn't hear, but the emotion was clear. Love, trust, surrender. The woman nodded. People around them clapped, cheered. Yura grabbed Jake's arm. What is this ritual? He asked her to marry him, Jake explained. They want to spend their lives together. Yura looked confused. For how long? Forever, if they can. That's not logical. Jake smiled. No, but it's human. That night back at the cabin, Yura stared at her hands. They were changing. Her fingertips had lost their glow. Her heartbeat now matched Earth's rhythm. She scanned herself again. The results were clear. Emotional bond forming. Transformation accelerating. Human hormones detected. She whispered to herself. This is not supposed to happen. The door creaked. Jake walked in. Are you okay? She looked at him. Something in her broke. I wasn't sent here to feel. I was sent to observe, to learn. Not this. What's happening to you? She stood up, voice shaking. I think I'm bonding to you. Jake froze. My kind will erase me if they find out. They will remove all memories. I will forget this. I will forget you. He stepped closer. Then don't go back. You don't understand, she said. My people fear emotions. They say love weakens the mind. They believe feelings lead to chaos. And now, I feel everything. Jake reached for her hand, but she pulled back. Don't, she whispered. But it was too late. The moment his fingers touched hers, her system surged. Her skin glowed faintly. Her breathing changed. She felt his warmth, his presence, his fear. She also felt his heart. And for the first time she understood. Love was not weakness. It was power. Suddenly, an alarm beeped inside her ear. Her ship had reactivated. A message displayed in her mind. Rescue vessel en route. Prepare for extraction. Her eyes filled with panic. They're coming, she said. They will take me. They will reset me. Jake's eyes darkened. Then we run. They will track me. Then we fight. Yura looked at him, truly looked. His face was soft, but his will was unshakable. He was just one human, small, fragile. But for her, he was ready to stand against a galaxy, and that made her heart beat louder than ever before. Emotions she never knew. A strange silence covered the cabin, thick like smoke. Outside, the forest slept, but inside, Yura stood frozen, staring at the blinking signal on her intercoms. Her people were coming. She had only hours left. She had a choice to make, and either path would destroy a part of her. Jake walked to the window, checking the woods. How many will they send? He asked, his voice low. I don't know, Yura said. They'll come fast, quiet, they won't knock. Will they hurt you? Not me, she whispered. But they'll erase what I've become. Everything I felt here, gone. And they'll remove you from my mind, like you never existed. Jake clenched his jaw. We're not going to let that happen. Yura turned away. You don't understand. I was not made for this. My kind are trained from birth to follow logic. Feelings are dangerous. Love is treated like a disease. If I stay with you, I can never go back. Then don't go back, Jake said. I'll lose my home. You already found a new one, he replied, looking straight into her glowing eyes. She felt something inside her shift. She wanted to believe him. But a voice from deep inside whispered fear. What if he's wrong? What if humans are just as dangerous as they say? That night, as the cabin slept under moonlight, Yura couldn't rest. She stood outside, breathing in the air. It was thick, alive, full of scents and sounds. Her senses were sharper now. Her skin warmer. Her eyes no longer glowed the same. She had changed more than she thought. A noise in the sky made her turn. A sleek shadow passed overhead, fast like a knife. No sound, no heat. Her people's ship had arrived. They were here. Suddenly a voice buzzed in her mind. Target located. Prepare for extraction. Do not resist. Yura backed away. Her body trembled. Fear pressed against her like a storm. She ran inside. Jake, she shouted. He jumped from the couch, grabbing his coat. What is it? They're here. He didn't panic. He grabbed his old rifle and moved fast. We have to move. That weapon won't stop them, Yura said. They don't kill, they erase. They'll rewrite your memory. You won't remember me. Jake looked at her. Then we fight for your memory. They ran through the back door, into the woods. Moonlight broke through the trees as they moved. Yura led the way, her feet barely touching the ground. But the ship above followed, silent and cold. Where are we going? Jake asked, panting. To the crash site, Yura replied. My ship still has one working pod, it's hidden. They reached the broken ship. It was half buried in mud and vines. Yura climbed inside and activated the pod. It hummed, weak but alive. Get in, she said. What? You have to leave. They won't chase you beyond the forest. This pod can take you far. Jake shook his head. I'm not leaving you. Then you'll lose yourself. So be it. Suddenly a light shined from above. A beam hit the ground behind them. A figure stepped out, tall, silver-skinned, wearing a suit of light. His eyes were empty. His voice echoed, Yura of Naris. Step forward. She stood in front of Jake. No. You have bonded. You are compromised. I chose this. I chose him. The alien raised a device. You will forget. Now. Jake shouted, Run! But Yura didn't move. Instead, she reached inside her suit and pulled a crystal shard. You forgot something, she said. I'm not just a scout. With one motion, she slammed the shard into the ground. The earth shook. A shockwave of blue light pushed the alien back. The device flew from his hand. Yura grabbed Jake's arm. Come on! They ran into the trees again, deeper than before. Heartbeats raced. Footsteps echoed. Behind them, other shadows landed. More scouts, more agents. But Yura was faster now, stronger. The transformation was almost complete. They found an old cave. They crawled inside and waited. Breaths shallow, hearts loud. Jake looked at her, covered in dirt and fear. What now? Yura looked at her hands. They no longer glowed. They looked human. I don't know, she said. And yet, for the first time, she wasn't afraid of not knowing, because beside her a human had stayed. The elders find out. The cave was cold. Water dripped from the ceiling. The sound echoed, slow and steady, like a ticking clock. Yura sat near the entrance, her arms wrapped around her knees. Her breathing was calm, but her mind was on fire. Jake was asleep beside her, his chest rising and falling. Even now, when chased by a galactic force, he could find peace. She envied him. Yura stared at her hand again. The blue glow had faded completely. Her skin looked human, soft, imperfect, warm. But inside her head, the link reconnected. A voice returned. Stand by. High Command will now speak. Her body stiffened. She tried to block it, but the link was too strong this time. A new voice entered. Her mind, deeper, colder. You have violated the laws of Naris, Subject Yura. Emotional bonding with a human is forbidden. Your mind will be restored. Your record will be erased. Return now or face exile. She didn't respond. The voice continued. This is your only warning. Your transformation is almost complete. Once finished, you can never return. Still, she said nothing. Then the voice turned cruel. The human will forget you. You will live in silence. Alone. If you run forever. A tear slipped from her eye. She whispered aloud. Why does it hurt to be free? Jake stirred, waking slowly. You okay? She wiped her cheek. They know everything. He sat up. What are they going to do? If I go back, they erase me. If I stay, they abandon me. He leaned forward. You're not alone. You've got me. You don't understand, she said. My people, they don't just cut ties. They remove names. I'll be a shadow, a ghost. Then let them forget you, Jake said. You'll still be real to me. Her lips trembled. No one had ever said words like that to her before. Not on her world. Not in her entire life. Suddenly, the ground shook. Outside, a bright light rose from the trees. Jake crawled forward and peeked through a crack in the rocks. A large triangular ship hovered above the forest, completely silent. Beneath it, 3 elder figures stood. Tall, glowing, dressed in robes of pure white. They didn't walk. They floated. They didn't speak. They projected. We are the Council of Naris. Surrender the Changed One. Now. Yura stood slowly. Don't go, Jake said. They won't leave unless I do. Then we make them. You don't have weapons for them, she whispered. But I have a reason to fight, he replied. You. Yura stepped outside. The wind blew her hair back. The elders turned to her. One of them tilted their head. Look what you've become. Soft, emotional, unclean. She raised her chin. I've become something better. You dare speak like this to your creators? You created my body, she said, but not my soul. Jake came out and stood beside her. One of the elders pointed at him. You poisoned her. No, Jake said. I reminded her what it means to be alive. The wind grew stronger. Trees bent. The ship glowed. But Yura didn't move. The central elder raised a silver device. One last chance. Return now, or be cast out forever. Silence. Then Yura reached down and took Jake's hand. The light from the elders pulsed wildly. Alarms rang from the ship. The sky turned violet as energy gathered around them. Jake stepped in front of her. If you want her, he shouted, you'll have to take me too. The elders stopped. For a moment, even time itself seemed to hold its breath. You choose a human over your own people? The elders asked. Yura nodded slowly. I do. Then the sky cracked with thunder. A loud boom split the clouds. The eldership rose quickly, pulling back. Lights flashed. The three robed figures vanished in a beam of fire, and then they were gone. The forest fell silent again. Jake turned to her. What just happened? Yura took a shaky breath. They're not coming back. They'll mark me as lost. Erased. But you're still here, Jake said, and I'm not letting you go. She smiled weakly. Her body was trembling, but her heart had never felt stronger, and for the first time in her life, she felt like she belonged. But high above the clouds in the shadows of space, another voice watched. This one didn't belong to the elders. It was darker, colder, and angry. A new order had just been given. Send the enforcers. If she refuses to return, destroy her. The choice that changed her. The morning sky was pale and quiet. Too quiet. Yura stood on the edge of a cliff, staring at the endless trees below. Jake sat behind her, sharpening a tool with a stone. He looked calm, but inside he knew peace wouldn't last. She could feel it, deep inside her body. A storm was coming. Her hands trembled. Not from fear, but from what she was becoming. Her blood had changed. Her skin had changed. Even her heartbeat now followed Earth's rhythm. She was no longer a scout from Naris. And yet she wasn't fully human either. She was something new. Jake, she said without turning. They will come for me. Then let them come, he replied. No. This time it's not the elders. They sent the enforcers. His face went pale. What are they? He asked. Machines. Built for one purpose, removal. They don't ask. They don't feel. They erase. Jake stood up slowly. We have to run. We can't outrun them. Then what do? She looked at him. We prepare. They moved quickly. Jake set traps around the edge of the forest. Wires, pressure plates, sharpened branches. Yura used her tech to shield the cabin with a cloaking field. But she knew it wouldn't hold for long. By nightfall, the air had changed. It buzzed. The animals were silent. Not even the wind moved. And then they arrived, 3 shadows in the sky. Black ships shaped like blades cut through the clouds without a sound. They didn't glow. They didn't hum. They floated like death itself. When they landed, the ground didn't shake. They didn't need force. They only needed presence. The enforcers stepped out, tall, dark armor made of living metal. No face, no voice. Only a single red eye on their helmet. Yura stepped outside the cabin. Alone. Jake tried to follow, but she stopped him. If they see you, they will attack. Then let them, he said. No, she whispered. You're my reason. If you fall, I fall. She walked forward. The lead enforcer raised a hand. A small blue orb floated between them. A gift. a cold voice said inside her mind. Return now and this device will reverse your mutation. Your thoughts, your memories, your feelings, all will be cleaned. You will be pure again. Yura stared at the orb. It pulsed. Cold. Tempting. You can start over, the voice said. No more pain, no more confusion, no more him. Her eyes filled with tears. Then she looked back. Jake stood in the doorway watching. The same man who found her, healed her, stood by her when no one else did. She turned back to the enforcer and crushed the orb beneath her foot. A burst of blue light exploded outward. The enforcers paused. I choose him, she said aloud. I choose this life, this world, and everything it gave me. The air grew heavy. One enforcer raised its arm. A weapon formed at its side, sharp like lightning. Jake ran forward. No! But Yura moved faster. Her body glowed, faint, golden light rising from her skin. Her eyes turned pure white. The enforcer fired. A beam of silver energy shot toward Jake. Yura stepped in front of him. The blast hit her square in the chest. She fell. Jake screamed, dropping to his knees. Yura. But she was not gone. She opened, her eyes slowly. The blast had hit her but not broken her. Her skin had turned harder. Like armor, her body had finished changing. She wasn't a scout anymore. She was something stronger. Half human, half Narian. Full heart. She rose to her feet, and then she attacked. The ground shook as she leapt toward the enforcers. The forest lit up with fire and sparks. Trees snapped. Soil exploded. Her hands moved like blades, her energy burning through metal. Jake watched in awe. One by one, the enforcers fell, and when the last one dropped, Yura stood alone in the smoke, her chest rising and falling. Light faded from her skin. Her eyes returned to soft blue. She walked back to Jake, weak but alive. He caught her in his arms. You changed, he said. Because of you, she whispered. You showed me what it means to be real. And as they held each other, far above the earth, another message arrived. But this time it wasn't a threat. It was from the Forbidden Council. The girl has survived. The hybrid is complete. Now we watch what the new species becomes. A ritual never seen before. Weeks passed. The forest slowly healed. Trees grew over the broken paths. Animals returned. The scars left by the enforcers faded under nature's quiet hands. But inside the small wooden cabin, something new was growing. Something more powerful than any weapon or technology. It was trust, and something deeper. Love. Yura sat on the porch, her skin now fully changed. Soft like a human's, but with a glow beneath the surface that never faded. Her eyes no longer shone like cold glass. They were warm now, full of feeling, full of fire. Jake walked up behind her and handed her a cup of tea. She took it with a smile. You're glowing again, he said. I feel it, she whispered. But this time it's not from fear. It's from peace. They sat side by side, in silence, listening to the wind move through the trees. No ships, no machines, no voices in her head. But above them, the stars were watching. Because Yura's transformation had not gone unnoticed. From far beyond the reach of Earth's sun, hidden in the cold corners of the galaxy, the Forbidden Council gathered. They were not like the elders of Naris. They were older. Silent watchers of life's strange paths. A voice spoke through the void. The hybrid has survived the trial. The bond has held. Emotion did not destroy her. It evolved her. Another voice replied, should we act or do we wait? We wait. We learn. On Earth, Yura touched Jake's hand. I want to show you something, she said. She led him deep into the forest, past rivers and caves, to the crash site of her original ship. It was now part of the land, covered in moss and vines. "There's one last chamber," she said. "Something I didn't understand before, but now I think I do." She placed her hand on a hidden panel. A door opened, revealing a room filled with glowing light. Inside, in the center, was a small sphere. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. "What is it?" Jake asked. "A seed," she replied. "My kind use them to grow life. In labs. Without touch, without feeling." She turned to him. "But now, I want to use it differently." "How?" "Together." His eyes widened. "You mean?" "Yes," she said. "I want to try your way. Not cold, not perfect, but real." She reached out her hand. He took it. As their fingers touched the sphere, something impossible happened. The sphere changed color. From blue to gold. It pulsed brighter. It accepted the bond, not just their bodies, but their hearts. And for the first time in history, something new was born, not a clone, not a formula, but a child of two souls, half human, half Narian, all heart. From the skies, the watchers whispered they have completed the ritual in their own way. But not all were pleased. In the deepest halls of Naris, the fallen elders stirred. "They broke the old law," one hissed. "Then perhaps the law was wrong," said another. On Earth, Yura and Jake returned to the cabin. Days turned into months. The seasons shifted. The pain faded. And one morning, Jake woke to find Yura standing by the window, her hand on her stomach. "It's happening," she whispered. His eyes widened. "Are you sure?" She nodded, tears in her eyes. "Yes, your way worked." He ran to her, held her close. "We did it." She smiled. "This is how we multiply, not with fear, but with love." And high above, across the stars, a message was sent to every world that had once feared Earth. The first human alien child is coming. Prepare for change. Because when one love breaks the rules of the galaxy, the whole universe learns how to feel.